Hello everybody, my name is Vegito, and in case you didn't watch this thank you video, we hit 200 subscribers! And this is a 200 sub special I discussed in that video. So anyway, let's go over some rules real quick. 1. This is my list! And 2, if you disagree, I would love to either see you comment on your list, or make a video or explain the subject. And also, if a Pokemon is a dual type, and if my favorite Pokemon for one type was types, it can't be unfair for its other type. So anyway, sit back, grab a snack, and let's celebrate 200 subs with this countdown! Big Bang! Number 18! Now, at number 18, we have my least favorite type being the Ice type. Now, the Ice type is easily one of the most frail of all the types, but easily one of the most useful, as they're moving with type much for the other types, and it functions as a Dragon Slayer before the Fairy type was around. Especially with moves like Ice Beam, Blizzard, and one of my favorites, Ice Punch! And now, let's meet my favorite Ice type! Now, Lapras is very nostalgic for me, and is one of the first water types to use in an in-game team. And unfortunately, it's one near extinction. Poor Lapras. But luckily, I'm always very kind to every Lapras I come across. Not to mention its massive variety of moves, because of its bulky stats, and on top of that, it can learn 3 of the 4 wanted KO moves, along with from 12 of the 18 types. Now that's a lot of type coverage! And combining that with either Water Absorb, which acts like a free recovery if your opponent uses a water move on it, or Shell Armor, which is basically a free crit shield. And there's also Hydration, but you really don't want that ability unless you're running a rain team. Big Bang Attack! Now at number 17, we have the Dark type. Now the Dark type, aka the Evil type in Japan, is mainly known for being highly offensive Pokemon, such as Hydreigon, Tyranitar, and one of my favorites, Houndoom. And the moves such as Bite, Crunch, Dark Pulse. One of my favorite moves one of my favorite moves of them all, Dark Void, which is the signature move of my favorite Dark type, aka the pitch black nightmare deity of the Sinnoh region, Darkrai! And now things get really get dark with this. As with Darkrai, he can give you eternal nightmares! So if he puts you to sleep, you're basically toast! And the fact that his signature move can put 2 Pokemon to sleep at once, if in a double battle, and combined with the ability Bad Dreams, you basically get free chip damage every turn. And then also combine this with Dream Eater as a free recover, as Dream Eater allows you to absorb a sleeping Pokemon's health. And on to the main reason why Darkrai is my favorite Dark type, being my second favorite Pokemon movie, right by Arceus and the Jewel of Life, being The Rise of Darkrai. Because honestly, that Darkrai was an absolute hero! And not to mention, not many Pokemon can take on Dialga and Palkia at the same time! Although the attack did cause Darkrai to disintegrate. And then there's Darkrai from the anime, used by that trigger that robbed Ash of his victory in the Sinnoh region. But we'll talk more about him later. Big Bang Attack! And now we move on to our third type, aka the newest type Pokemon, that being the Fairy type. And I know it sounds hard to believe, but these little pixies are actually the Dragon Slayers of Pokemon, as they're immune to Dragon type attacks and give a bunch of old Pokemon new life, which is Mawile, the Marilyn, and the Pokemon that's well known in the franchise, and not in a good way, being Gardevoir. And even got a new evolution in Sylveon. And I almost forgot to mention, But the fairy type actually gave us the reason to be packing poison and steel moves. But enough of that for now. Let's meet my favorite fairy type, being a deer and the deity of life. Now you're probably wondering how a deer can be the deity of life. Plus, considering with its high attack and special attack, this set for one Geomancy, your Xerneas turns into one Pokemon wrecking crew. Halfway demolishing opposition with its wide variety of type coverage for 15 of the 18 types. Plus, with access to recovery moves like Ingrain and Horn Leech, and more stall moves like Substitute, you can really play Xerneas in any style. But what I recommend, full out offense. Set with Geomancy, fire off some Moonblasts, and you're basically good to go. Big Bang Attack! And now we're moving on to the next type, and this one's quite diverse. This being the normal type. As normal type holds some rather unique Pokemon, like the other contender for this spot, Slacking. But thanks to Evice, he's not getting that spot. Seriously, it took me 3 tries to beat him. But those of you who saw the Coliseum Let's Play, the 3rd try is what was shown. But anyway, that's that point. And also, there are moves can be used by all other Pokemon, and only have one weakness, the Fighting type. But we'll talk about them later. So, let's meet my favorite normal type. And now we're talking about the laziest normal type of them all, the OG King, Snorlax. And for design, of course, we're taking hits like a freight train. And with that, we can talk about its stats. Well, it's not too good with speed and regular defense, but its physical attack, HP, and special defense are incredible. And it has pretty much Gigantamax to boot. Big Bang Attack! And now we move on to a type that's rock hard. Sorry for the bad pun. And by that, I mean the rock type. Now with the rock type, we have some powerhouses such as Gigalith, the fossil before Gen 8, because in my opinion, those fossils are unholy abominations, and the Rhyhorn line. And her moves, especially Stealth Rock, are still used in the meta today. But with that, let's meet my favorite rock type, aka the giant dinosaur of the Hoenn region. Now we're really getting one of the coolest Pokemon around, and on top of that, even though it has 2 4x weaknesses to both ground and fighting, which are types we'll discuss later, but Aggron also has 2 quite powerful abilities in Sturdy, which post Gen 5 is basically a free focus sash, or Rocket, which means no recoil damage. And you can run moves like Double Edge or Head Smash, and moves like Automized into his Speed Stab Real Jumpstart. And he also has a Mega, which unfortunately ditches his Rock type, making him an unfortunate choice for this segment. But considering his Filter ability, can basically cancel out damage from super effective moves. Big Bang Attack! And now we're on to the next type, aka the Bug type. Going from the only counter in Psychic in Gen 1 to having some pretty cool Pokemon. Even though they have my least favorite Pokemon, Pinsir. Although it also has my former second favorite Pokemon, Scizor. But enough of all the suspense. Let's meet my favorite bug type, which is definitely a rather tropical one, considering it's the only Gen 7 representation in this video. Oh yeah, now this is one of the greatest bug types in my opinion, and it's also an electric type. And the fact that it's nuclear special attack stats, and set up agility to give it more speed, and running Bug Buzz and Thunderbolt for stab. If you guys didn't know, that's the same type of attack bonus. And I'd say either Crunch or Acrobatics for coverage, and agility for speed boost.
Big Bang Attack!
And now we move on to the type that eats bugs for breakfast. We have the flying type, which is home to all the early bird Pokemon, which is Talonflame, Swallow, and Bird Jesus himself, Pidgeot. And my favorite type would be an earlier Pokemon, but specifically the one from the Sinnoh region. And now we're tackling the coolest bird Pokemon of them all, as it's the only early bird Pokemon that can learn close combat, which proves it to be a deadly asset to its team. And the main reason why Starter is a flying type crown is because it was my first ever Pokemon that I ever got to level 100. Although I don't have a Starter anymore. Rest in peace, Starter. But rest assured, when Diamond Pearl remakes do come out, I will definitely be using a Starter on my team to honor our fallen comrade.
Big Bang Attack!
And now we move on to our next type, aka the most infamous in all Gen 1, which you know introduction being the Psychic type. And if you never played Pokemon, you're probably wondering, how is the Psychic type so broken? Well, I'll tell you. As in Gen 1, the special attack and special defense stats were originally one stat combined. Pokemon like Alakazam and Mewtwo basically wrecked everything. I could stop them were ghost types. And considering the only ghost types from the Gengar line, and they are a part poison type, this is all with the Psychic. So they couldn't really help. So the only I could stop them were bug types, which had terrible stats and moves at the time. But enough of that. Let's meet my favorite Psychic type. Now remember when Darkrai mentioned the trainer from Bob Dash for his victory in the Sinnoh League? But Darkrai wasn't his only Pokemon. This is his other one, Latios. His Sceptile and Swallow, and tied with Pikachu. And note, Darkrai was paid by the same Sceptile. After Heracross, Torkoal. Seriously, Ash, why would you bring a weak Pokemon to battle Pokemon like Darkrai? You absolute idiot. And it's Gible. The Latios haven't had the same type combination to the deadliest Pokemon ever, Ultra Necrozma. Well, before Gen 8. Seriously, Game Freak, why would you make a Pokemon so overpowered? But anyway, let's talk about Latios. As Latios, or Latias, or the main Pokemon would be. Went out like a hero. And that's okay. Now Latios has the same move as well, being Luster Purge. But there's better moves to use on it. Mainly Psychic and Dragon Pulse for stab, gives you another same type attack bonus. And I would recommend Calm Mind for setup and Flamethrower for coverage.
Big Bang Attack!
And now we arrive at the first of the starter types, being the Grass type. And yes, Grass might be favorite starter types. So, sorry to you guys are Grass type lovers. But consider this, the Grass type is at the top of the bottom half of the list. But anyway, the Grass type is mainly known for its status moves such as Sleep Powder and Leech their opponent's health, which is Giga Drain and Leech Seed. Other than Giga Drain, my favorite Grass type doesn't use any of those moves. So, let's meet my favorite Grass type. And now we tackle the king of the forest himself, Sceptile! Now Sceptile, for those who never play Pokemon, those you have, just bear with me here. There are three starter types, being Grass, Water, which we'll cover later, and Fire, which we'll also cover later. And Sceptile is the final form of the Grass starter, Hoenn. On top of that, it can sparkle like that blunt. Check out Sceptile use Dragon Breath! Which move? The Sceptile is the Storm's best friend. Sorry, I had to do a Storm joke. Literally, it was a perfect moment! Plus, Sceptile also gets a Mega Evolution, giving the Dragon type, and for some reason, Lightning Rod for its ability. creates an insanely high special attack anytime he gets hit with an electric move. So in Double Battle, you can turn Pokemon A electric type, and just have its electric type use Thunderbolt and Sceptile in its Mega form. And boom! You can basically just Leaf Storm without the drawbacks. So yeah, you can run Sceptile or Mega Sceptile, or Leaf Storm on Double Build Mega Sceptile. But on any other build, I wouldn't recommend it.
Big Bang! Attack!
And starting off the top half of the list, we have the ground type. And let's just say this one is definitely going to pop up a lot in the meta. And it's just absolute units like Primal Groudon, and by extension Groudon, and Garchomp, and Claydol. Claydol is really good for stopping entry hazards. Can definitely entry hazards, and most of the time it's paired with the rock type, which unfortunately is four times weaknesses to two extremely common types. But sometimes ground can be paired with fantastic types, like water or steel. And speaking of steel types, let's meet my favorite ground type, which is hard steel type. And now we have one of the coolest Pokemon around, as not only is it the king of sand teams, but it was so overpowered, it was brought to the Uber tier in Gen 5 through its ability Sand Rush, which doubles your speed in a sandstorm, and it has its hidden ability Mold Breaker, which allows you to grant abilities such as Levitate. And you can Pokemon Levitate with devastating a powerful Earthquake, which will tear through the opponent's team like tissue paper. So no matter what, I will always recommend Earthquake on him. Even going for a Sand Rush build, both Iron Head are going to be your main stab moves, as well as Rock Slide and Brick Break for coverage.
Big Bang! Attack!
And now, we're going to our next type, which conveniently is Exo's other type, being the Steel type. And this type is known for a few things: high defense, just high bulk, and also having some sick Pokemon designs. And you can combine with a variety of types, such as Psychic, Fighting, Ghost, and even Dragon. And some are even used by champions. And with that, let's meet my favorite Steel type, being the ace of Steven Stone, Metagross! And now we have the coolest Steel type of them all, and it's also part of the Psychic type. And let's just say, this Pokemon is also quite famous on this channel, as it's the final team member of my Coliseum Let's Play. And along with Mufasa, my Entei, those two deliver the final blow to Evice. But unfortunately, his last Pokemon took F walked down with him. And that Metagross was named Optimus. And let's just say, you'll want Psychic for like an Iron Head for Stab and Giga Impact if you're running a Mega Metagross build. And speaking of Mega Evolution, he has one. Giving extra arms and making him constantly levitate. And his shiny looks absolutely sick. And the silver and gold look really good together. Also, fun fact, the shiny coloring matches my trumpet.
Big Bang! Attack!
And now we have the type you see the most in the meta, being the Fighting type. It's often used by gym leaders and some Elite Four members. Examples being Marshall, Bruno, Maylene, Karina, Brawley, Chuck, and like close comment for Staraptor, because earlier, fighting type moves end up being used by a lot of Pokemon, like Brick Break or Focus Blast on some psychic types. But enough of that. Let's meet my favorite fighting type. Now, like Metagross and Excadrill, Lucario is also part Steel type. And in fact, Ash is finally gonna get one after all these years. Lucario, as well as Zoroark, actually debuted in movies before the 5th generation. But Lucario also made a cameo in Red and Blue Rescue Team. After all, Lucario even became a fighter in Smash, debuting in Brawl, mainly using his Aura abilities, such as his trusty Aura Sphere, which should have been his signature move in my opinion. And Lucario was one of the few Pokemon to receive a Mega Evolution. And it was one of the first to its fan favorite status.
Big Bang! Attack!
Our type is the spookiest type of them all, being the Ghost type. Let's say some of these are quite frightening. As Giratina, for example, is basically the Pokemon Devil! And Mimikyu, legend has it, if you look under the skies, you could possibly die. And Chandelure can literally steal your soul right out from your body, leaving a soulless husk. What's behind? But my favorite is none of those, so let's meet my favorite ghost type. Now you meet everyone's favorite haunted sword and shield Pokemon, Aegislash! As Aegislash also has two separate forms, being his shield form and his blade form. The shield form works more on defense, and the blade form works more on offense, as they attack him from Aegislash to his blade form, which gives him insanely high offensive stats. And his signature move, King Shield, also back to his shield form, maintaining defensive stats. And like Excadrill, if I send to Uber tier instead of debut generation for being too overpowered. After all, this Pokemon is the reason Steel lost its Dark Resistance. As Aegis lost its Steel type with Dark Resistance, like his second in Gen 1, it would be unstoppable! Which makes it lost into Dark. But anyway, let's move on to the moveset. I would recommend being Shadow Ball and Iron Head for stab, and Sacred Sword and King Shield for coverage.
Big Bang! Attack!
Now we're in top 5 territory. And we're bringing the next of the 3 starter types being the Water type. Which, fun fact, the Water type has the most variety of Pokemon besides the normal type. And they also have the most HMs being Surf, Dive, Waterfall, and Whirlpool, you can Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or Gold, Silver, and Crystal if you're playing Gen 2 games. But enough of all that, let's keep my favorite Water type. And now bringing one of my favorites, who just happens to be a French cuisine, and by that I mean frog legs. And it's also a ninja. That just happens to be another starter Pokemon, but here's the twist. Greninja was a fighter in Smash before he was in the game. And he was so powerful, they just have a patch just to nerf him. And his abilities, which I don't recommend using Torrent on your Greninja, as your main abilities for Greninja are going to be Battle Bond, which if your Greninja defeats a Pokemon, it can become Ash Greninja, which makes him even stronger. But this isn't the ability to make him the second starter Pokemon to get into the Uber tier. That being Protean, which in case you didn't know, allows Greninja to change its type depending on the move it uses. Meaning Greninja laughs in the face of having a type disadvantage while he wrecks your opponent's entire team. Now for movesets, I recommend, for Protean build, I recommend Surf, Gunk Shot, Acrobatics, and Ice Beam. And for Ash Greninja, I recommend Water Shuriken, Hydro Pump, or Surf. And point accuracy over power for Surf, or power for accuracy. And also Night Slash and Ice Beam.
Big Bang! Attack!
Now we are the most toxic type of all. Pun intended. being the poison type. And the poison type with some really cool Pokemon, such as Venusaur, Crobat, Scolipede, Gengar, and Toxicroak. But enough of those Pokemon. I mean, those Pokemon were actually contenders for this spot. But I wanted all the generations to have representation. So, let's get her poison type and the only Gen 8 Pokemon in this video. And now we have, in my opinion, one of the best looking Pokemon of all time, being Eternatus. And I gotta say, Game Freak, you really hit it out of the park with this one. I mean, what's cooler than a dragon with skin and flesh corroded away by acid? Not to mention this Pokemon with a series removed through Dynamax Cannon, which can shred through Dynamax Pokemon, and a Eternabeam, this new most powerful Dragon-type attack, excluding Z-moves. And it's the only Poison-type legendary. It only took like 24 years, but they finally made a Poison-type legendary. And I gotta admit, it's one of the best designed Pokemon of all time. You don't kind of Dynamax or Gigantamax. But that doesn't mean it lacks firepower, as has Eternamax form, which has defenses higher than Shuckle! Now that is an achievement! As tied with Blissey for the highest HP stat in the game. And it's the biggest Pokemon in terms of height in both of its forms. And it has a base stat total in the Eternatus form of 1,125, being the highest in all of Pokemon, as it's the only one with a 4-digit base stat total. As now, let's discuss movesets. For Stab, I recommend Eternabeam or Dynamax Cannon, and Sludge Wave. And then for coverage, I always recommend Flamethrower and Shadow Ball.
Big Bang! Attack!
Alright, now we're in top 3 territory. Which means, now we go to our shocking time. Pun intended. You're probably wondering, how did Electric get to the top 3? Remember I said we're going to start this countdown? That this is my list. So this means only 3 types are left. So let's type walking with the bronze today. The electric type. And this type has moves very beneficial to use to catch Pokemon. There's Thunder Wave, Paralysis, and it's also type Pokemon mascot Pikachu. But enough of all that. Let's meet my favorite electric type. Alright, and now bringing the next Pokemon, and our third to last Pokemon for this video, being the electric lion Pokemon, Luxray. Now I know people have debated whether Luxray is a lion or a lynx, but I'm gonna say he's a lion for the sake of this video, as he looks more like a lion. And this Pokemon also has to be the ace of the 8th Sinnoh in both Diamond and Pearl and the anime, in Platinum the ace of the Electivire, which is definitely a very close second for me. But enough of that, let's discuss abilities, being Intimidate and Rivalry. Which, if we're talking battle capabilities, you have one amazing ability and one completely useless. So I would definitely try to go for Intimidate, as this is the ability that's not really useless. And for movesets, I recommend Crunch and Thunderfang for Stab, and, well, just Thunderfang for Stab. And you can also use the other 2 Elemental Fangs as coverage. And now, there are only 2 types left. One goes home the loser, and the other becomes the greatest type of all time. And the loser is...
Big Bang! Attack!
Wait a minute, I know what you're all gonna say. Why is fire number 2? Remember, number 2 is nothing to sneeze at. Oh, there's nothing wrong with Silver. Anyway, let's get along with it. So we're finally talking about the final starter type, by being the fire type. Now the fire type is easily known for one thing: pure power. But anyway, let's meet my favorite fire type, being the OG fire starter himself, Charizard. Well, now we're talking about a quite nostalgic Pokemon for me, as Charizard was my very first Pokemon. Well, it was Charmander, and therefore Charizard. It was my first Pokemon game in the summer 2008, the Pokemon Leaf Green. Now I guess I should explain. Going through the starters, I first put on Bulbasaur, but I thought it was a bit too weird for my taste. 27-year-old taste. They put on Squirtle. I thought the Squirtle concept was cool. I didn't pick him. When I got to the last one, I picked him the second I saw him. My 7-year-old brain thought, at the time thought, there was no Pokemon that could beat him. Let's go on to Charizard's 2 Mega Evolutions. And let's say I adore them both. But I also bring for X. I just finally gave him the Dragon typing it so rightfully deserves. Reply is perfect for Sun teams. And let's do something crazy happen. Like I had a dream I was riding a giant Charizard that just so happened to look like Charizard against Gigantamax form. And then Gigantamax Charizard was built the next day. It's like Game Freak was reading my mind! No G-Max Charizard. But let's talk movesets. Going for card X, I recommend Flare Blitz, near Outrage Dragon Claw for stab, and then Thunder Punch and Steel Wave for coverage. Main card of Y, I recommend Flamethrower and Air Slash for stab, and Solar Beam and Sunny Day for coverage and Flame to the Sun.
Big Bang! Attack!
And finally, we're at number 1, my favorite Pokemon type. By process of elimination, being the Dragon type. Now this type is mainly of high power and hard to control Pokemon, and most legendaries, Legend of Eternatus, who we mentioned earlier. But my favorite Dragon type is one of these legendary Pokemon, so let's meet him. Now, what do you get when you combine a sick-looking design and my favorite color? You get Zekrom! And he's the favorite for my favorite type for 2 main reasons. As when Pokemon Black and White first came out, both me and my brother got the games, as he got Black and I got White. But, joke's on him! I wanted White from the beginning, as Pokemon is very exclusive, except Sock. And my personal favorite final gym leader for any game. As Pokemon Black, Drayden is the final gym leader, and in White, that honor goes to Iris. You know, Iris from the champion Black and White too, which are among some of the best games in the series. But enough of all that. This is Zekrom's spotlight, not Gen 5 as a whole. Although I will take some time because Zekrom's inferior counterpart Reshiram. As sure, Fire and Dragon is a cool type combination, but not only do I prefer Zekrom's coloring, I also prefer his design and typing much more to Reshiram. Plus, I feel like it's the canon legendary for the Black and White protagonist. Not to mention its ability Terravolt, which kinda acts like Mold Breaker, which makes it with Excadrill no earlier. I mean, he can hit that smug Electros with a high power Earthquake. Which means we're moving into movesets, being Fusion Bolt or Bolt Strike, and Dragon Claw or Outrage for stab, and I would recommend Steel Wing for fairy types, and Hidden Power Water for ground types. Well, we're finally done with this video. So what I say is one last time, thanks for 200 subs. And I hope everybody has a great day. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace!